Hey, it's your man Charlie P. Today we're going to talk about exactly how I caught 130 pips and a little secret I use to catch sniper entries. All right, so I'm on GBPCHF on the 15-minute chart, and what I'm waiting on is for a price to come down and tap my gold line. When it does that, I'm getting in on a buy. Here's why. On H1, if I zoom out, there's a really large head and shoulders pattern. Here's the first shoulder, here's the head, and then here's the second shoulder. It's an upside down head and shoulders pattern. Now on the head right here, this was actually a mini head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder, a head here, and another shoulder. And that was actually a 100 pip trade in itself from here to, well, up here somewhere. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But essentially, here's the second shoulder. And what we have is a trend line break, which again, I don't necessarily draw these. I just know it. I can see it. But for your purposes, I'm making sure I want to show what's going on. So we've got this trend line that was broken. It came down, tapped the trend line on the hourly, almost tapped it, came up, tapped it, came up, broke it, and retested the other side of it. Retested the other side right here again. So that lets me know the trend has been broken, because this major trend line is, prices playing around on this side of it now. Also, if I go down to or scroll in just a little bit so you can see this a little better, there's another mini trend line that just broke as well right here. So see, price came up, bounced, came up, bounced back down, and it kept wicking that same trend line. And then finally it broke it with the strong candle, and it's already come down and tested the other side of it. I would have liked to have gotten in right here, but I wasn't awake yet. So it is what it is. But since we're on the other side of this, I'm hoping that it's going to at least come down and grab my gold line, which would be just about testing that same line again. And then we're going to buy it off of that. So we'll come back and see what happens. Okay, so price is starting to get a little bit close to the gold line, which is, I don't think I mentioned earlier, it's my 50 EMA. So the 50 EMA. And I'm actually going to go ahead and get my lot size in order. I'm going to knock this down just a tad bit, and we'll try to throw 2 standards on it. Being that it's a reversal trade, reversals are so tricky. So I just want to decrease my lot size just a little bit in case they try to throw some more trickery on me and shoot it down, pretty tough for some reason. But let's see here. Come on down a little bit more and we finna buy. I wanted to just pass the 50 EMA just a little bit. Thought that was going to be it. All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and buy that. And then we'll put our stop loss down here. So that's a 11 pip stop loss. And then let's go ahead and try to find an area that we think would be a good take profit point. So my first target off top would be the top of my head and shoulders formation. I expect it to at least come up and break this. So that would give us 126 pips for $2,700 in profit right there. However, pretty sure it's going to break that. I think here's a major point. This area right here, a major point where it wicked it. And this is the H4 chart. It wicked that twice and then it broke through. So I'm going to raise my target up just a little bit, actually somewhere kind of up in there. And we'll go for, what's this, 100. And so we'll round that off and go 160 pips and see if we can't make that shake some. All right. So looks like we're in profit just a little bit so far. So good start. And we'll come back and see what happens. Okay, so it's been a few hours. I just wanted to do a quick check-in on our GBPCHF trade. Currently, we are up 47 pips on that trade. And as you can see, we never had any drawdown. Y'all saw me take the trade. You see, we had no drawdown at all. So it was a perfect entry. At this point, being that we're so far up, I'm going to go ahead and adjust my stop loss, which I already adjusted it a little bit because it was kind of down here, but I'm going to go ahead and drag it up to where we're a little bit in profit. So now it's a risk-free trade. No matter what happens, we should be safe and know that we're not going to lose any money on this trade. It'll give me at least $47. You know, if worse comes to worse. All right, we back. It's 3:45 in the morning. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take profit because we're at a level that's pretty significant. Right here is breaking through this. And so it's broken through a little bit. I expect it to start stalling just a little bit. We are pretty much almost at our target. So it is what it is. It's 2,800 in profit. I'm gonna go ahead and take that. That's good. I can't complain. I'm also in this trade on my turnkey accounts. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off of these as well. I'm not gonna show this dollar amount, but I actually have 2 accounts on turnkey that I trade. And so I'm gonna get out of both of these. But yeah, I mean, essentially that was what, from here where we just got out to here where we got in, that's 131 pips. So that's what's up. Less than a day, less than 24 hours. You know, that was 2,800. You know, on what you saw me take the trade on. I'm sleepy. I'm sorry. I just woke up and checked my phone, saw where the profit was, and I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and take that. But yeah, man, it's a good start to the week. So let's keep it going. And I'm taking my behind back to bed now. So I'm gonna holler at y'all. Okay, so now that I'm up for the morning time, my brain's not as foggy. Let me do some more explaining something. First of all, let's look at where we got out the trade, and more so why I got out the trade. Because it was somewhere up in here. And so we got out, it looks like at a pretty good time because it's retracing on us now. But when you go to the 4-hour chart, really pay attention to your main levels. Go to the 4-hour and learn to just kind of zoom out. And as you see this line over here, so I'm actually zoom in again and just scroll over. You see this right here. This was a major level of support here. And so the market bypassed that right here, came back up and tapped it, came back down, it came back up, tapped that same point again, and that's where we got out. So just keep in mind that the market's going to revisit certain points and test it, and it's going to play around in those price zones. And so those are good areas that's a good area to go ahead and just get out of the trade or get in the trade, depending on what you're doing. Now, I do think that zone is going to be broken eventually, but that's one thing I just want to point out. The other thing is when we entered the trade, this is something that I failed to mention. I know that I told you about this. You know, of course, there was a trend line break right here. Or actually, oops, that's not right. Here you go. There was this trend line break right here. And when you're drawing trend lines, the key is basically you're just connecting the place that can connect the most dots or the most, points, of price. And so, and you always want to draw your trend lines at least on the hourly chart or above. So the hour, the 4-hour, those are the trend line. If you're gonna draw them, then draw them on those. And the last thing I'm just gonna mention for newcomers, let me do it this way, because oops, didn't mean to do that. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Okay, when you draw a trend line, it's gonna probably do this right here. It's probably just gonna span all the way out. And the way to fix that is to double click it And then once you know you've double clicked it, you'll have these three squares, these three little white squares. Then just right click anywhere on the trend line, go to trend line properties. And then under the parameters tab up here, just uncheck Ray and then OK. And now you have full control over how, you know, how long you want your trend line to be. But anyway, let me just drag that down. That mug was at the perfect angle. That's dope. All right, so once our trend line was broken, basically what I was looking for more, because I go off of horizontal lines, you know, rather than diagonal trend lines like this. But price came up here and then it started falling. At that point, I put a horizontal line right here because this is going to be my anchor point, basically at the top of the body of the candle. So I draw that line. Price comes down, it comes up, and then the hourly candle breaks that anchor point, and then it starts to fall again. So at this point, I'm going to drag. Well, actually, at this point, I'm kind of looking for an entry because it's the right time of day. However, the reason I wouldn't take this entry, and it wouldn't have been a bad entry because it just came down and retested the other side of the trend line. I could have gotten in here, but it had been a while before the market took off in my direction. The reason I knew to kind of wait on it though and not necessarily get in right there, at least for my style of trading, is because if I look at the reassurance chart, that was this area right here on the 15-minute candles. And notice my 200 moving average, which is my gold line right here. The 200 moving average is under the 400. The way moving averages work is you want them to be in the right numerical order based on the direction that you're wanting the market to go. If you want the market to be trending upwards, then the moving averages should technically be in order, going from highest to lowest, as far as the way it moves. And if it's going down, then you want the 400 to be on top and then the rest of them to be spanning down that way. But the 200 hadn't, I mean, it was still so far down. And so I just kind of knew like it's not about to take off yet. So notice the closer it got to takeoff time, the 200 is getting closer to crossing over the 400, which is the red one. But the 200 is getting closer and closer to crossing over. And then we got in really kind of right, because we got in right here at the bottom of this wick. And that's dang near right when it was finna cross over on the 15-minute chart. But that's kind of how I knew to wait on it. But aside from that, while we were waiting though, this became our new anchor point up here on the hourly chart. The market falls, comes up and down again. I probably wasn't even looking at the market right here, so I'm not even going to draw another anchor point there, but it came down, up, then down from here. And now since we're in Asian session at a good trading time, I would take the anchor point and adjust it at that point, because now I'm looking for this to be broken. And I assume it's going to happen in London session. It comes up, down, then it finally breaks it right at the beginning of New York session. We have our H1 candle breaks through our anchor point. Now I'll come down here and you saw how we took the entry, once it finally came and tapped the gold line. And that's really the secret to how I get, I guess, sniper entry, so to speak, is on the 15-minute chart, just try to enter on the opposite side of the gold line from where you're wanting to go. If you want the market to go up, try to enter on the bottom side of the, I keep saying the gold line, the 50 EMA on the 15-minute chart. That's really the secret to it. Try to enter on the opposite side of the 50 EMA on the 15-minute chart based on whatever direction. If you want it to go up, get on the bottom side of the 50 EMA. If you want the market to go down, then get on the top side. So let's say like right here, you want the market to go down, get on the top side of the 50 EMA. That's how you avoid a lot of drawdown. That's my secret to sniper entries right there. It's not that difficult, or not that difficult of a concept or whatever. But anyway, I think I'm gonna end the video here, and I will holler at y'all on the next one.